Welcome to the channel, everyone. Today working on the 2009 Silverado 2500HD, and I'm going to be doing a well, not a complete, but I'm going to be changing out a bunch of the fluids for Royal Purple. I like the Royal Purple stuff. I've been using it for a while. See, you got some 530 oil. This is for the engine. Got a Royal Purple oil filter. I've got some of the Max ATF. This is for, I'm going to do the transfer case today. And then I've also got some of the Max Gear 7590 for the front axle. I've got enough here. I'm going to do the rear axle as well. Probably won't get to that in this video because I have something for that and I got to paint that, so probably won't get to that. But we're going to be doing the oil, front axle, and transfer case in the Royal Purple. So I'm going to get this thing up on the hoist, get the oil draining, probably do the motor oil first. Then we'll move on from there. Okay, so we're up in the air. Get my drain plug off here. I'm wearing some bigger gloves because the truck's pretty warm. You gotta watch out, this thing shoots out pretty far too. Okay, so it's pretty well drained. With these trucks, you gotta watch out when you're draining the oil. It gets all over the skid plate. Now, that really ain't a problem for me. I feel like the oil down here is actually gonna help in like Wisconsin winters. But the problem is when you're draining it, it likes to run all over the place on the skid plate. So just be aware of that. Okay, so now we're taking the oil filter off. And this one is on way too tight. They don't need to be on that tight. You just need to get them snugged up. Just like they say, when you get contact with the gasket up there, I don't know what it is, 3/4 of a turn or whatever. I usually turn it by hand as much as I can, and I call her good. This oil is warm, so that's why I can't just grab it with my hand. I know this is basic oil change stuff, but there's always new people, you know, getting into the hobby and getting into vehicles. So I feel like showing this again isn't gonna hurt anything. Okay, so we're going to clean the gasket surface off. Make sure it's all clean for the new filter. Okay, so I got my new Royal Purple oil filter. I have lubed up the sealing surface with fresh oil. I've seen quite a few people use the old oil to lube that gasket, and I don't like to do that. Another thing I've seen is people filling the oil filter with oil. I don't think that's necessary. I mean, you're only going to be, you're only going to not have oil for a very short time. And if you drop your oil out, fill it up, and start it again, you've got oil all over your motor. Now, if you let your motor sit, for a while after you did an oil change, you know, maybe I can see filling that up. But if you're firing your vehicle up right after you've done an oil change, there's all kinds of oil all over in your motor there. You're not going to have no oil pressure for long enough to do any damage, I don't think. I believe most of your engine wear happens with cold startups. Okay, so I got the drain plug back in, new oil filter, new Royal Purple oil filter. Truck's on the ground. Gonna put the oil in. These engines take around 6 quart. Always want to check your level once you start the truck up, pressurize the system. Now, Royal Purple has these kind of weird bottles, and you don't want to pour them straight because you'll make a complete mess. You want to turn them sideways and pour them like that. Just a quick tip if you're using the Royal Purple in these kind of weird bottles. But anyway, I'm going to get my oil in there, and we'll be done with the oil change. Okay, so I got my oil in there. I'm going to fire the truck up, pressurize the system, and then I'll do a oil check, make sure I'm at the right level. Alrighty, so we're right where we need to be for the oil, so that's pretty much it for the oil change. Okay, so now I'm going to go after the front axle fluid change. And I got 15mm socket. You got 4 bolts that got to come out. And if you just did a fresh oil change, you're going to have all kinds of oil up in the skid plate. It's a good time to clean the bottom of the skid plate too. Okay, so now you can see the front axle here with the skid plate out of the way. Your drain is right here. There's the fill up here. 13mm for the drain. You can see I do it does look like I have a leak on my seal there. So there's that fluid. It doesn't look... Fluid looks... I don't know if that looks a little watery. But, you know, this is why you change it. You don't want moisture in there, and you don't want dirt in there, so you're supposed to change it. Okay, so here's the drain plug, and it had some pretty nasty crap. But again, this is why you want to change this fluid, because you want all that nastiness out and you want fresh fluid. So I'm going to clean this off and we'll reinstall the drain plug. Okay, so we're going to reinstall the drain plug. And I'm sure there's torque specs on all this. I'll see if I can find them and maybe put them in the video. I've already got the big fill plug out, so I'm getting ready to fill that. Okay, so I got this pump. I'll link it from Amazon. Mine's broken, but it still works. I need to get another one. And it just, I'm just pumping it right out of the bottle into the axle. It's the easiest way to do it. And I'm just gonna pump it in there till it starts running out the fill hole. think it's about 2 quarts. So we'll see. Okay, so you can see it's running out the fill hole a little bit. So you're gonna need at least 3 quarts. You're not gonna use all of it, but I would get 3 quarts so you can fill it up if you drain it all the way. And that's that. I gotta put my skid plate back on. And we'll move to the transfer case. Okay guys, so here's the back of your transfer case. And you've got a drain plug and a fill plug. So, I believe 18 millimeter. Is what takes these off. So I'm going to take the fill out first. Sorry about that, just hit the camera. And I got quite a bit of fluid coming out of the fill plug for some reason. And now it's getting all over the floor. I'd say that the little overfilled. That's dirty. And I just made a complete mess. Definitely need to be changed. It's pretty dirty fluid. Okay, so here's the drain plug. It's got a magnet on it, and you can see all the debris on here. So I'm just gonna clean this off. And it doesn't look, I know it looks bad, but there's no really big chunks on it. That's what this is for. It's designed to catch anything that does come off, because everything inside this transfer case is wearing. So I'm gonna get this cleaned off. We'll get her back in, and we'll fill it up with some royal purple automatic transmission fluid. Okay, so we're going to reinstall this drain plug in here. We're going to snug it down. You ain't got to go crazy because this is aluminum. Okay, so now we're gonna fill it up same way we did the front axle. Just gonna pump it in there with my little pump. Okay, so I got my pump here. Pumping it in right from my bottle. Okay, so transfer case only took a quart and a little more of another quart. So not a whole lot of fluid in this transfer case, which is another reason you should change it. Because when there's not a lot of fluid, there's not a lot of, when it gets dirty, there's not a lot of fluid to hold the dirt. So okay, so one other thing I did before I let the truck down is I greased the front end, all the ball joints and steering parts. And then I've got this DeWalt. This is a really nice grease setup. If anybody's looking for something battery powered, you ain't got to pump nothing. Battery lasts forever. It's a really nice system, really nice system. So that's going to do it for this video, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed it. All those fluids are really important to change out. I think what I've seen is around 50,000 miles they want you changing some of that stuff out. Always check your owner's manual, guys, to make sure what needs to be changed and when, especially if you plan on keeping your vehicle for a long time. All that stuff's going to be a lot happier with taking the old fluid out, along with all the contaminants, metal shavings, dirt, and putting fresh fluid in there. So I guess, guys, like I said, that's going to do it for this one. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. I'll see you.